The United Arab Emirates is known for housing some of the richest families in the world. From its 6 ruling families, there's one that stands out as the 4th wealthiest family on the planet, Abu Dhabi's royal family, the Al Nahyan dynasty. So, in this video, we will dig deeper inside the trillionaire life of its members. The Al Nahyan royal family are the rulers of Abu Dhabi, by far the richest of the 7 emirates, and the capital of the United Arab Emirates. The family's wealth comes from the discovery of oil in its territory in 1958, and since then, the revenue from the oil royalties and exportation, alongside endless investments, banking hubs, holdings, and real estate, over the years built a true empire that dictates the lives of its descendants. Estimated at least a staggering $300 billion. No one knows for certain the exact proportions of the royal family's fortune, since there's a blurry line between the government and the family itself, considering that the clan has been responsible for ruling the country since its independence. Currently, it's UAE's founder Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan's 6 sons, with his 3rd wife Fatima bint Mubarak Al Ketbi, that dictate the rules, not only in Abu Dhabi, but clearly also have a lot of influence in the other emirates. All of them contribute to build the family's wealth, but some of the most prominent faces are Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, or MBZ for short, or to close friends, Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. MBZ is not only the head of the family and current ruler of Abu Dhabi, but also the president of the UAE. He alone is already worth $30 billion. Talk about a man with power. With everything that money can buy at his very reach, MBZ sure knows how to spend his fortune and be as extravagant as very few people can. To give a quick example, way back in 1981, MBZ married Princess Salama in a stupendous wedding, estimated to have cost $100 million. I mean, MBZ literally ordered the construction of a stadium with a 20,000 guest capacity for the ceremony, which lasted 7 days. Because if one knows how to spend, one sure must know how to party. It's no surprise then that when we take a look at MBZ's possessions, we find quite extravagant assets. Since a billionaire is not truly a billionaire unless he has a yacht, MBZ is the owner of the Rabdan, a luxury motor yacht with a 73-meter length, 27 knots top speed, 15 cabins that can accommodate 14 guests and 16 crew members, worth $60 million. The Rabdan, however, is only one of at least 3 yachts from the family's collection, which includes the world's largest one, Azam, which belonged to Sheikh Khalifa, Sheikh Zayed's firstborn son and 2nd president of the UAE. The Azam is also considered the most complex and sophisticated yacht ever built, with a $400 million to $600 million budget. But MBZ and his family are not only fond of exploring the sea. For them, the sky's the limit, with their private jets, consisting of at least 5 Boeings, 2 of them under his care, a $450 million Boeing 747 and a $180 million Boeing 787, both able to accommodate the entire royal family. Because if you are a billionaire, why buy a small private jet when you can buy a giant plane all to yourself? His brothers aren't really far behind, as we might expect. Sheikh Tahnoon is the head of the Abu Dhabi Wealth Fund, ADQ, the first Abu Dhabi bank, and the country's national security advisor, while Sheikh Mansour is the deputy prime minister of the UAE, head of the federal fund Emirates Investment Authority, chairman of the central bank, and last but not least, the head of the Abu Dhabi United Group, the investment company that owns properties all around the globe, with its biggest interest in the City Football Group, who, amongst investments in other clubs and also outside the sports world, owns Manchester City Football Club. The family sure are up on their sports game too, it seems. The Al Nahyan's empire grows day by day, largely thanks to the Royal Group, a web of companies that acts on varied fields internationally, from tourism to robotics, finance to gastronomy, and sports to the entertainment industry. Such a conglomerate helps to spread the family's power and influence around the world, commanding assets worth around $300 billion. billion. The list of the Al Nahyan's properties goes on and on, with some of its other biggest assets consisting of various properties based in London, including the Berkeley Square House, plus numerous palaces around the globe. But perhaps the one worth exploring in this video is the royal palace in Abu Dhabi itself, the Qasr Al Watan. The palace, whose name literally means nation's palace, is not only the presidential residency, but also a cultural and tourist landmark in Abu Dhabi. The Qasr Al Watan is actually pretty recent, being completed in 2017 after a major and arduous construction that took 150 million man-hours and cost around $490 million, and has been open to public visitation since 2019, being nominated in 2020 for the World Travel Awards as the main cultural tourist attraction in the Middle East. With such a budget, the palace just had to be breathtaking, and the final result we see today absolutely does not disappoint. Its construction and design pays homage to the Arab heritage and tradition, with an astounding area of 380,000 square meters, with 2,300 rooms that include libraries, dining, and shopping area. With a white facade made of granite and limestone, the inside of the palace is beautifully and thoroughly decorated with blue and golden details that result in over 5,000 unique designs of Arab-inspired iconography all over the walls, ceiling, and floors. But nothing calls more attention than a chandelier that weighs 12 tons with 350,000 pieces of crystal, so intricate that it had to be assembled in place inside the Spirit of Collaboration Hall, a room designed to host official meetings. The palace also has a dome with a 37-meter diameter located on top of a central chamber that results in the largest room in the compound, the Great Hall, that divides the building into the east and west wings. While the east wing is known as the House of Knowledge, working as a kind of museum, accommodating several artifacts, religious texts, and a library with more than 50,000 books that document the cultural, social, and political history of the country. The West Wing is used for political and official purposes, like meetings or banquets with other world leaders or partners, for example. Another member of the family with a famously unrestrained and eccentric spending habit is Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, or simply the Rainbow Sheikh. With $20 billion under his care, the Sheikh assembled one of the world's biggest and most impressive car collections. That's where he got this nickname from, by his love for multicolored things. That is noticeable in his collection, consisting of several rainbow-themed cars, such as a classic Mercedes-Benz that he ordered for his own wedding that made Mercedes shut down its production to focus on the Sheikh's order. If that wasn't peculiar enough, the Rainbow Sheikh is crazy about unconventional and modified cars, such as a Mercedes S-Class that was turned into a monster truck, an 8-wheeled Nissan Patrol, and a giant-sized Land Rover, Jeep, and Dodge Power Wagon, which is insanely huge, being at least 5 times the size of a normal truck, consisting of a living room, 4 bedrooms, and a bathroom inside. That really makes a strong contender for the weirdest car in the Sheikh's collection, but I still think that his Globe motorhome tops the list. This one consists of a giant car shaped like our planet, with 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms in multiple levels. No one knows for certain how much it cost, but one thing is for sure, there isn't a more luxurious and eccentric road trip than the ones the Rainbow Sheikh could offer us with his wagons. But the cherry on top for me is the largest caravan ever that was built just for him, and mimics the sand crawlers from Star Wars, because who wouldn't order their own sand crawler with all his money? I don't think we can act surprised on this one. To keep all of those babies protected, of course the Sheikh had to build a giant metal pyramid garage in the middle of the desert to keep all of his 200 cars, which also works as a museum open for tourists, the Emirates National Auto Museum. But the Rainbow Sheikh's extravaganza does not end here. A must-have for every billionaire, the Sheikh has his own private island, called Futaisi, with a total area of 50 square kilometers. To make it a bit more personal and special, he built a canal using engineers at Abu Dhabi's National Marine that spelled his name over its territory, so huge that it was visible from space. For some reason, later on he had the signature filled in. Maybe from embarrassment, we'll never know, but luckily the Sheikh has enough cash to make some little repairs and touches on his property. In addition, because billionaires are not only made of the weird stuff they often buy, but also of peculiar hobbies they cultivate, the royal family is very fond of falconry, an activity that is apparently passed from generation to generation, as MBZ used to do with his father. Falconry is none other than some falcon training, where you teach and train a falcon to attack on command. Falcons aren't actually that expensive, but of course the royal family wants the top-notch falcon falcons one can have, which can cost up to $250,000. And if that was not enough, MBZ also opened a falconry school named after him to help to continue bringing this tradition for new generations to come. Now, if they will enjoy this hobby as much as MBZ, or even be able to afford it, is a whole other discussion. However, we are lucky enough to see that apparently all this wealth might be too much for the royal family to keep it all to themselves. Following his brother Sheikh Khalifa's footsteps in philanthropy, MBZ often donates some of his fortune to political, humanitarian, scientific, and cultural initiatives since the time he was still a prince. Some of those donations include gifting millions of dollars to the UN Global Initiative to fight human trafficking, investing in efforts for child vaccination in Afghanistan and Pakistan, a funding grant to the MD Anderson Cancer Center of the University of Texas, efforts in setting up art museums, such as Louvre Abu Dhabi, and to protect wild animals like falcons and the Arabian oryx. At least, it seems more people outside the Al Nahyan house can enjoy some of this fortune somehow, am I right? What would you do with such wealth? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked this video, be sure to click on one of the cards on the screen to watch similar ones. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to keep up with more interesting content.